From the Pyle Media Venture Studio in Noblesville, Indiana, this is the Jacob Pyle Show. With tonight's guest, the mad bus driver himself, Anthony Session. And the host of our show, Jacob Pyle.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Jacob Pyle Show. My name is Jacob Pyle. For the next 30 minutes, unscripted discussions, but with a difference. No shouting, no cussing. All topics that we are discussing on the show have been approved by me before the show taping. I have a confession to make to all of you. This month officially marks my 12th anniversary in podcasting. And in all that time, we've had guests ranging from authors to singers, the fellow podcast hosts and producers, to just plain down-home everyday people. Tonight, for the first time in 12 years, my guest is a comedian. I've always wanted to feature comedians on the show because, in my opinion, we all need laughter at a time when our world and our daily lives are insane. Joining us now via Zoom is my special guest for tonight, Anthony Session, otherwise known as the Mad Bus Driver. Welcome to our show.
Well, hello, and thank you, and hello to everybody in Noblesville, Indiana, TV land, and all around the world. It's a pleasure to be here. How you doing, Jacob?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm okay today.
I gotta ask you this. How did you get the nickname Mad Bus Driver?
Well, the Mad Bus Driver stands for motivation and determination. You know, because in this profession, when I was driving the bus, I've been afforded the opportunity to be of service, to the people. And so have an opportunity to work on behalf and for seniors, but also working with a lot of young people, from kindergarten all the way up, into college. So, being a motivator and somewhat of a mentor sometimes to some of these young people. Yeah.
I want to say I appreciate what you did because, I've never been a bus driver myself, but, I was in school and I know how hard especially school bus drivers have. So I just want to say I appreciate what you did, doing that.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. But go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Well, right now, actually, when I was actively driving the bus, it was for King County Metro, which is the city bus. Yeah, I started off driving the city bus. I did that for 25 years. And after that, I decided, with a little pushing from my wife, to take a look at some comedy stuff because I'd come home and I would share with her some of the day's events, and it would just really just tickle her. And she's like, you need to share that with people, and I was like, well, I don't know if anybody really want to hear this stuff. But she's like, no, they will. And so I started to just take notations and different things of various situations, comical situations. And from there, I started doing open mics and perfecting the timing, the setup and delivery of the jokes. And that turned into a successful skit that I do. And I created the Mad Bus Driver Show, which travels across the country. And from there, I decided, well, since I'm doing this, I would really love to have a TV sitcom based on the antics, that go on every day, on the bus in different places. And so, as a matter of fact, I've just finished doing filming the pilot for a TV sitcom that I'm working on. And along the way, I won what's called a laurel for the script, for some of the episodes that I created. So yeah, I'm just trying to bring about something that's hilarious, that's different, but also connects all of us as people, regardless of, race, color, creed, whatever. And we try to leave politics out of it and religion out of it, if we can, and just share the commonality, of what people do on the bus. Okay. When people that they know ain't looking.
All right. You pretty much answered the next two questions I had. One was, how did you get your start as a comedian? The next one is about your show. Is there any I'm trying to go off the cuff here. Is there any specific details? Like, is there anything that you're looking forward to with this new Mad Bus Driver show that you're working on?
Well, yeah, like I said, I believe. Well, there's a lot of reality TV shows out. After a while, people get tired of that. And then, you got shows like The World's Dumbest, this, that, and the other. People get a little tired of that. But, what I'm creating, is a sitcom, again, like I said, that has to do with the day-to-day life of, regular people, all the way from, professionals that ride my bus. I have a lot of doctors, dentists, ophthalmologists and stuff like that ride my bus to work. The hospital and what have you, whatnot. And then, we have, day laborers, you name it, we'll claim it. I have, some of everybody, on my bus. And so it's about the spontaneity because there's some really funny people that are out walking around. And, a lot of them are senior citizens. Senior citizens have such a great sense of humor and they're very quick.
Well, I know you mentioned senior citizens too. Is there like a specific person or a specific I mean, you don't have to name names, as I always tell people, but is there like a specific person that you had on your show that really stands out to you as you're doing the show? When I'm speaking in terms of that, I'm speaking in terms of some of the folks that have ridden my bus and that do ride buses. Well, I mean that's what I mean. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I had a couple of actually centurions. I had several centurions who are in great shape, and what I found out about them is they're very good at fencing with their canes. If you really want to see some professional fencing, ride a bus at the first of the month when some of these senior centurions and some of these other senior citizens are trying to get to the grocery store and everybody wants to be first.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you. I've ridden the city bus so many times, and I've came across some very interesting people in my time. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely.
And that's really the best part of riding a bus, because you get to meet and you get to know people that you don't really, know very well, that are willing to do, that are, people that are wanting to be helpful, people that have a sense of humor, like you just said, and things like that. So
yeah, and you can learn a lot, because one thing about being on a city bus, there are you got all these different type of personalities, and some people are a little more quiet and shy. And as you know from your own personal experience, there are those persons who are not that quiet and shy, and they want to express themselves, and they find themselves with an audience that's basically trapped until they get off the bus.
Right. Right.
You become a victim sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now I gotta ask you this. So the Mad Bus Driver show. When and where can we find it?
Well, you can find a lot of stuff at my website, themadbusdriver.com, and at that website you can, yourself and the viewing, listening audience can find out, where I'm going to be and what city, at what time, what dates there. And also, you go to Anthony Session Comedian Facebook and the Mad Bus Driver Instagram is the right place to find out where I'm going to be. Right now, I don't have any live shows for the next, I don't know, foreseeable, well, maybe 60 to 90 days or so, because as I stated earlier, right now I'm in the finishing touches of this TV sitcom, a trailer for a TV sitcom. So, doing all the necessary, stuff to get it just the way I want it, just the way I need it. So that's what's going on with me right now.
All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, more with the Mad Bus Driver, Anthony Session. Stay with us.
right.
We're back now. Welcome back to the Jacob Pyle Show. My guest for tonight is comedian Anthony Session, otherwise known as the Mad Bus Driver. And you wanted to pretty much go over a typical day of what your day in the life is like. So go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of folks, they'll go like, well, on the bus, like, well, how you doing today? I said, I'm doing good today. And I'm like, well, what do you got to do today? Oh, I just got to go and do some administrative work and stuff like that. And I'm like, is that all? But people ask me, what's your day really like? I was like, it goes like this. Normally from 5 to 9 a.m. See, because let me just say this. When you're a bus driver, you wear a lot of hats. Bus drivers wear all sorts of hats because we need it to cover all kinds of areas and aspects of life at any given moment. So here's just a little preview. From 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., I'm a preacher, pastor, rabbi, monk, Islamic cleric, Buddhist leader, exorcism expert, followed by an underpaid psychiatrist. From 9 to 12, I'm a discount plastic surgeon, adult choir director, children's Sunday school nutrition and light punishment coordinator, followed by a bookkeeper and janitor. From 12 to 3, I'm a food program for the homeless director, baby christening overseer, bar mitzvah coordinator, bus wedding coordinator. Then from 3 to midnight, I'm legal counsel, marriage counselor, baptism and real cold water director. I like that one. Funeral director. And on Wednesdays, we have 50 cents off at the end of the month cremation services, just in case your money gets a little funny, followed by mortician and hearse driver.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, my day in the life is pretty much the same as yours, except it's backwards because I work night shift. So, and I'm not really gonna, because I do a podcast. I work a night shift job too, so it's kind of like it kind of goes both ways. I want to real quickly, if I can get a video prepped on my phone. I would like to play a clip of you of one of your comedy bits that you did, and let me see if I can get this up here. And just a heads up, there are instances in the clip where there is profanity used, so we bloop those words out for you. Here once again is my guest, Anthony Session, otherwise known as the Mad Bus Driver.
My nephew taught me something about one of my cars that I never knew. $62,000 car. Now, I'm the kind of guy, all I want to do in this car is I want it to start. I want some heat in the winter, a little air conditioning when it's hot, and I want a little music. All the rest of that shit don't mean nothing to me. I just wanted to do them things. So I saw my nephew, I was driving down the street, Bobo crack it. You been missing. I rolled the window down. I said, hey, Bobo, come here, boy. Where you been? Everybody looking for you. I'm going to the family reunion. You want to go? He said, yeah, let me in. We got in the car. I was driving. All of a sudden, I started to reach for the climate control button. It's a little warm in there. He cracked at it. He said, what you doing? I'm trying to, he said, you ain't got to do that. Talk to it. I said, talk to it. He said, talk to the car. I said, you talk to it. He said, 69.7 degrees, air conditioning came on. Boom. I said, wow, I didn't know that could get. I said, how about music? He said, what you want to hear? I said, Parliament Funkadelic. He said, he looked at the dashboard, he said, Parliament Funkadelic, people Earth to in 1976. Music came on, swing down, sweet cherry stop, and let me ride. I said, wow. no money. I ain't got no cash. All I got is plastic. He looked at the dashboard. He said, paint ain't on. The ashtray popped over, he grabbed and finished. I'll get back with you later. I got the money.
Do you when you're performing those comedy acts? Do you have you ever had any fan encounters or anything like that came to you and say, man, I loved your show. I mean, this is funny. I mean, I like what you're doing. Stuff like that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. It's grown. I Helium Comedy Club in St. Louis. I played to a full house. 200, 250 people, 300 people, and I'd also like to say this. One of the things that people who get an opportunity to see me live appreciate, yes, there is a little bit of vulgarity, but I'm a storyteller. So
right.
When we say the word vulgarity, I don't say anything that's belittling, mean-spirited, or just nasty and unnecessary.
Right.
I don't use a bunch of vulgar stuff or stuff with unnecessary sexual connotations or,
right.
Body parts or, mean-spiritedness
right.
to women. I just sort of lay out there what a lot of people might not say, but they're thinking it.
Right. I get your point. Yeah. We had so many interesting things in common in life, But what was one of your? Can you think on the top of your head what was one of your favorite comedy bits that you did?
Wow, there's so many. But one was I was at 3rd and Union in Seattle, and I heard someone screaming, "Hey, driver, man, bus driver, stop, let me on your bus. So I pulled the bus over, and this senior citizen, she's probably in her middle to late 80s. So, I lowered the bus and I let the ramp out, and, this lady's got a carriage, she's pushing her carriage. And I just took for granted that, she's got to be like her great, grandbaby or something. So anyway, we get on the bus and everything. And right before I, get ready to take off, she sits down. And before I was just about to ask her, what's the baby's name? I heard a little bark. And it was her dog. She had a little pet chihuahua in this carriage.
Uh-huh.
And so she looks at me. She says, "Man, bus driver, do you go to PetSmart?" And I said, "Well, what's wrong with the dog? You got to take him to PetSmart." She says, "I got to get him some toothpaste. He's getting a cavity." And I said, "If you're going to the wrong place." She was like, "Well, where should I be going to get the dog some toothpaste for the cavity?" I said, "No, you should be going to Walgreens to get some Polydent. You're the one that doesn't have any teeth." That's a true story. So, you talk about priorities in some people's lives,
Right, yeah. All right. When we come back, I will have a preview of our guest for next week, and we will conclude our conversation with the mad bus driver himself, Anthony Session. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Jacob Pyle Show. My guest for tonight is comedian Anthony Session, otherwise known as the Mad Bus Driver. I hope you can join us again next week on the Jacob Pyle Show, where my guest will be author Sally Marks. Alright. You've told us a lot of interesting things on our show today, and you've told us some funny stories that came with the past. What advice would you give any comedians that are wanting to start out in the business?
Well, just do the best that you can and practice. Timing, timing, timing.
Anyway, so do you have like what do you like best about what you do? I mean, is it the I mean, what do you like best about what you do?
Well, first of all, it's having the freedom and the liberty to do it. So it's not a job for me. This is fun, and secondly, the joy that I see on people's faces, and we need laughter. I think you mentioned earlier. There's just a whole lot going on in this world right now, and people need something to laugh about. Laughter is good medicine because as human beings,
It is.
we're all connected. We only live so many years. We got the same fears and we share the same tears. Just some of us look a little different and we may speak in a different tongue. But other than that, we all got the same problems no matter how much money you have or you don't have.
Yeah, I'll tell you when this in 2020 when COVID-19 was big, I was impressed with how that they didn't let that stop them from doing what they do. Yes, we had to do things different. We had to do a lot of things differently. Social distancing, having to do Zoom calls like we're doing right now, things like that. But what made it interesting was how they were able to do more things through all that stuff. And I think some of it's even still being used today. A lot of these people use Zoom calls and things like that for work or for everyday things, and that makes it, and it's impressive on how times have changed in these past 4 years.
Well, yeah, and I'd just like to say for your viewing and listening audience, for anyone out there who work in any capacity for places like Walmart or Target or whatever, during the pandemic, some of the crazy people in the back of my bus who have since changed their errors of their ways would like for me to tell you, thanks for keeping the prices so low, they ain't got to steal no more.
Yeah. 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 I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I mean, I will say this because I do work in retail. I work the overnight shift at a retail store, and it's like things. I mean, things should have changed back in those days. Like I remember before the pandemic, the 24-hour WalMarts, the 24-hour, all these 24-hour places now, which is now no more. I think there's like a CVS. Like I live near a CVS here in Noblesville that's open 24 hours, but that's basically it. Like, and maybe some restaurants, but that's about it usually as far as that's concerned. And yeah.
Well, I just it was tragic. It was tragic how many people passed away and came to their demise because of the pandemic. But there's nothing new under the sun. Back in around the First World War, you had problems. We had all kinds of organic problems and stuff, and you had the famine. Lots of things have happened. So this is just a reminder to human beings that we are not as smart and in control of things as we like to think we are. And sometimes we need to have a little reminder to behave ourselves. That's how I look at it.
Right. Well, I think that's the best way to look at it here. We have about maybe 4 more minutes left in our conversation. So, do you have any? I know you kind of prepared. You kind of told us a little funny, comedy bit earlier about what a day in the life is like. Do you have anything prepared that you want to share with us for the last few minutes?
Yeah, for those who go on my, like I said, go to my website, themadbusdriver.com. Anthony Session, comedian Facebook, and the Mad Bus Driver Instagram. And I'm also excited. It hasn't come out yet, but I'm going to be in this movie that's coming out um, called House of Karma. And so, yeah, that was a great experience that I've gotten involved in the last year or so. And so I'm not sure exactly what platform it's going to come out in, but sometime this year. Yeah, so it was nice getting into my first movie, outside of the project that I'm working on now. So, just having a lot of fun. And I just hope that I can continue to bring people laughter, bring people together. And, there's a lot of meanness in this world. And I just feel like I don't need to be a part of that. It's much easier and much more worthwhile to be nice. That don't cost nothing.
Being nice is free.
That's right.
Being
So
nice
thank you so much for allowing me to be on your show.
You're welcome. Let me ask you one more thing because we still got about less than 3 minutes left. Have you when you're out there performing, have you ever I was watching. I was watching a lot of your comedy stuff. I always, like I tell people all the time, I do my homework on the guests before we have them on the show. I was watching some of your stuff there on YouTube. Are most of your comedy bits pretty much based off of instances that happened on your bus when you were driving people around?
Right. Yeah. Before I retired, from driving the city bus in Seattle, these were the things that were these are things that were happening and that were going on every day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like the story of your nephew that we just watched a little bit earlier.
Oh yeah, my nephew Bobo. That's real.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah, Jacob. I didn't know that my car could do all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. I was like, wow.
Right. All right. Oh yeah, yeah. I got let's see. I don't think pretty much most of my family is pretty much straight. They did, they treated me well and they treated me well and everything. So, my grandpa, my dad, my aunt, pretty much everybody in my family, as far as I'm concerned. All right, we have about a minute left, so I think all right. So we can. So just to remind our viewers again, you can be found on the Mad Bus Driver's website, which is www.themadbusdriver.com. Is that right? Am I saying this correctly?
Yes.
And then look out for the Mad Bus Driver Show, which will be where? Which will be on the site, I think.
Which platform yet? But because we're still working on it. But hopefully by maybe September or something. But again, and also I can be. People can stay in touch with me at the Anthony Session Comedian on Facebook and the Mad Bus Driver Instagram.
All right. Well, as we always say around here, our conversation could go on forever if we wanted it to, but unfortunately, as far as the show is concerned, we have to end our conversation here as we have ran out of time. My guest has been Anthony Session, aka the Mad Bus Driver. I thank you for joining us. I'll be back next week with another guest to talk to. Until then, for Anthony Session and all of us on the Jacob Pyle Show, I'm Jacob Pyle. Thank you for watching, and good night, everybody.
If you want to be a guest on The Jacob Pyle Show, or if you'd like a DVD copy of tonight's program, send Jacob an email. His email address is jtpyle1@aol.com. Or if you're ordering a DVD copy of tonight's program, send $10 check or money order to The Jacob Pyle Show, care of Pyle Media Ventures. Post Office Box 154, Noblesville, Indiana 46061. Please include the air date seen on your screen when ordering. Residents outside of Indiana add $5 shipping and handling. This is Zach Brown speaking for the Jacob Pyle Show, a Pyle Media Ventures presentation. This program has been pre-recorded.